Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another Games Talk Live. I had to make sure I have everything on. Anyways, it's good to be here. Another day, another week. We've got some decent topics, I think, to talk about today. Man, news is kind of slim, though. I'll tell you that, Hargeet. By the way, Hargeet's here, as usual. What's up, Hargeet? How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. We had a Thanksgiving celebration out here in the U.S. I don't know how was yours.
It was good. It was good. Spent some time with the family. Went down, saw my
Nice.
son, his wife, the grandkids. Spent Thanksgiving there with them. Of course, I couldn't eat too much there because my diet and all. So I was pretty good about it. So we'll just say
Good.
that.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a good time. As far as games, what have you been playing lately?
I finished up the Call of Duty campaign, so I got that done. And then I started up that was it Spirit of the North? I think the one that's leaving Game Pass like today. So
What did
I'm
you
gonna try to finish that up.
What did you think about the whole package for the what do you call it? Black Ops 6 campaign.
As far as the
Campaign.
campaign,
Yeah.
it's got a little bit more variety.
Yeah.
It's still Call of Duty though. It's still
Yeah,
Call of
yeah,
Duty.
yeah. 100%.
And Call of Duty campaigns are they're Call of Duty campaigns. So it's kind of like over the top action and stuff. It's like, yeah, whatever, fine. In some ways it was interesting to see a little bit of diversity in the gameplay types, but uh, I don't know, like there's a lot of stealth that you could do, but I like stealth where it's kind of designed to be stealthful, but this one was kind of just you do stealth and you could easily trip up the stealth, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
So it was okay. I like, and those they're interesting attempts, but yeah, still at least they tried something different, which was cool. It was cool to see something different.
Yeah, I
So
enjoyed it. Like I had a
yeah.
blast with it. It was really fun, really good. Um as far as gaming for me this past week, it's been still Rebirth, been playing that. On and off. And it's funny because I love Final Fantasy VII. I love the first part of the remake that we got a few years back, but I have not been hooked yet into this one. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good. I'm having fun with it. I understand what people complain about with some of the mini games. I don't love those so much, and maybe that's one of the reasons why it's not got its hooks in me, but I still really am enjoying it. It's just not the same as the first part of the game, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um,
Yeah, I hear the same thing that the second one isn't as good as the first one. I don't know what that means as far as overall quality of the game. It still got nominated for a lot of things. I think it's got the same level of
it
noms
does.
and the
Yeah.
TGAs as Astro, right? So it's got a lot of nominations. I don't know if it's gonna win anything. We'll see.
Yeah, and I've also I've gone back to auditioning for voice acting roles again. So
Nice.
I started picking up that again. I've auditioned for like 3 things. Hopefully I can land something. It'd be nice. They're small roles and stuff. I'm not like shooting for the stars or anything, but they're just fun to do. And one of the projects I did like a year and a half ago never even materialized. And I talked about it and I was so excited about it. And it never even came out. And I told one of my friends who's a voice actor about it. And he goes, "Welcome to the industry. Happens all the time." Uh, he'll be in a small part, and then all of a sudden he'll get cut out, or it just doesn't materialize at all. And it's
Yeah.
just the way it goes. So, um, it's I don't know. It's something to definitely. It's another hobby to get into and have fun with for sure. Um, Aside from that, I'm trying to psych myself up for Path of Exile 2. I really want to get into this game. I've been wanting to get into Path of Exile for a while, and I've downloaded it and deleted it and uninstalled it so many times on my PC because I am so intimidated by this game. It is like, it's a lot like Diablo, but there is so much more going on in the game. And what I mean is like by intimidating, it's harder than Diablo. I get my butt kicked a lot faster than I do in Diablo, but it's a game that I really want to get into because I hear nothing but high praise for this ARPG. And I've been talking to my buddy Legendary Drops about it. And, I asked him, I go, how can I get into this? I want to start with 2. I don't even want to go back to the first one anymore. I just want to start with 2. And he says, well, the only thing he texted me back was, take it slow. Because he got to play 8 hours of it early. So he got to test drive it. And he says, it's amazing. And he can't wait for the full game to come out. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm trying to build up the confidence to play that one. And I know my buddy out there, oh no, it's Alex, loves Path of Exile, and he's been telling me, hey, I'll teach you how to play.
Doesn't he have like ridiculous numbers of hours in that?
Yes. He plays that game like almost exclusively. So that's just that's what he plays mostly. So
hey, as long as you're having fun, that's the whole point, right?
Oh, facts. I want to say what's up to the chat. It's good to see some of you in here today. Biff Rinaldi, what up? I see Alex. He says, thank God for the show. Gaz's show is killing me with this new guy on the show that's shitting all over games. I know who you're talking about. It's Solid Rev. And yes, that man shits on 99.9% of video games out there. Hey, he likes what he likes and dislikes everything else. I get it. Cullen Prime, I see you. Fun speculation. Mav in the house. What's up? Good to see you, Mav. Got to have you on the show again soon. Yeah, we got to have him on. Mav's a good guy. For those out there that I hope that everything is coming in okay between our sound levels. I didn't check that. I'm sorry. Say something, Hargeet, real quick, so I could just see.
Hello. Let me just make sure I'm unmuted, right? Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, your laugh definitely hit up there. You have like a fan or something going on in your room, don't you?
Yeah, that's why I keep trying to unmute.
That's fine. All right. So, what about this? It's not really a topic, but I heard recently that 2K is removing its mandatory launcher from all its gaming catalog out there for the PC. So I know this is not much for console gamers, but for PC gamers, that's kind of a big deal. That's pretty cool, huh?
Interesting choice. Yeah, I wonder why they decided that. Was it just getting in the way? Because you could still buy it wherever you want, but they would just use their launcher, right?
It's probably one of those things that just got in the way, dude. Like it was a hassle. Like anytime I would start up Red Dead 2 or any other 2K game, you had to go through their launcher, open it up, start the game. Even if I bought it on Steam, it just didn't make sense. So, I mean, I wish more companies would allow that to just go away, especially if they allow their games to be sold on other platforms. Why even have a launcher? I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
I'm assuming for metrics, right? It's the same thing with the PSN login. Right?
Oh, yeah. Metrics.
For some metrics. I hope theirs didn't cause any countries to not be able to buy their game. I assume that's not an issue, but the PSN country thing is still an issue. I don't know why they keep doing it, but they keep doing it.
Oh, Biff, he's stuck in the house with COVID again. Oh man, Biff. Sorry to hear, buddy. That is not fun. 108 Dragons in the chat says 8K native. Let's go. No 8K
I pulled that off on our cards. I think you can probably pull it, but it'd be pretty low frame rates, but you can probably pull it off on our cards.
I don't need 8K. I mean, 4K is good enough for me. I've got my 4K monitor.
I don't have an 8K TV. I have a 4K TV.
Yeah,
which is good enough for most people. I don't think 8K. You'd have to be pretty close to see it, but yeah, it's still doable.
I think it would be such a diminishing return on 8K. Like you would really have to have a massive screen.
Yeah, you're right.
A massive screen sitting really close to it, because otherwise.
And some people have that. Some people do.
Yeah, I mean, 108 has that, by the way.
I don't. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he bought he had an 8K TV for a long time. He bought his a while ago. So yeah, he's had an 8K. I think he's got the LG as well, which is great. The OLED. But yeah.
Yeah, he says.
Yeah, I just bought a new.
For him too. What'd you buy?
I bought a new to replace the projector, in our sort of movie room. It's this open area above the garage. It's a very large room. It's like 42 by 30, 42 by 28. So it's a massive room, no columns, all just one big ass room, right? And
Nice.
so we have a projector in there, and it gives. I took up the light fixtures, and so we made it take up the wall, and it's like a 140-inch screen, right? I'm like, okay,
Whoa.
cool, but you can only watch at night. There's like
Yeah,
windows
the
everywhere,
lumens is
and
very
it's like,
low.
so you can't like it, and so like, you know what? I'm just kind of waiting for the time that there's a TV that's reasonably affordable that you can have at over 100-inch, right? And so this year at CES last year, right? This year, January, they had the Hisense and the TCL 115 and 110, and the Hisense 110 is just a little better. They're both expensive, but the Hisense was on sale for $15,000 on sale for $15,000. I'm like, fine, I will pick that one. So that's what I got. I'm getting that installed over the next couple of weekends to replace the 140-inch projected screen. But this thing is crazy. It's at 10,000 nits, which most of the OLEDs
Wait,
are like in the
hold up. So, wait a minute. So 10,000 nits, and you still can't see it in the day?
no. That's what this new TV is.
Oh, what TV is
Projector.
that? What is the TV? What'd you get? What
It's a
is that?
Hisense
A
110
Hisense
UX.
is that's I know that one. I saw that one. Wasn't that one of the TVs that HD TV test Vincent looked at not too long ago? And it's a very
Probably all
expensive
of them have
TV.
probably.
It's
Yeah,
a
all
very
of them seem to love
expensive
it.
TV. Yep.
So, but like if you normally when you're going over 100 inches, it was like, oh, you're spending 100K, and you're like, well, okay, this is kind of a bit more reasonable. So, so, so yeah, so
And
15.
that's mini LED, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, mini LED.
I remember right, it's something like
Bro,
40,000 dimming zones, something ridiculous.
bro,
So it's
that's an
very,
amazing
very, very
TV,
good.
man. I'm a
Yeah.
bit jealous.
So that'll be our movie watching TV in that massive room that has the full Atmos with 4 up ceiling speakers and the 7.1
At
and
this
all that.
point, you're just sprinkling just jealousy all over the
So
chat.
yeah,
That's it.
so it's just changing out the projector with that. But I mean, I don't know. I wanted to have something at the TV level that was over 100, and this is like, okay, this is kind of getting to that convergence point where it's realistic. It's like, fine, I'll go ahead and splurge on that. So yeah, so that's coming
Cygnus
in.
says
wait
that
to see.
Hisense breaks easily. You know what? I've heard that Hisense is actually a decent brand now. Like their higher end
Yeah.
TVs are quality products. So
Yeah,
and he
that is
got
one of
the
the
highest
concerns.
end. So I mean,
Yeah,
and
that's one of the concerns. But
let me tell you,
this is going to be like handcrafted, right? Like
I want to speak on this a second
limited
because
supply.
I want to tell you a story. Back in I want to say it was the mid 2000s, I bought the highest end Sony XBR TV, whatever it was back then, and it broke. So anything can break. It can be the best product on the market. There's lemons out there.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. 108 Dragons, thank you for the 5, by the way. It popped up on the screen earlier, but I just want to read it out there. Hey, Hargeet, he says, thank you for influencing me. I just bought LG G4 77-inch. Damn you, Hargeet.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, all the new OLEDs today are just amazing. All of them.
They are.
Freaking, they all have their like strengths and weaknesses, and Samsung's got that really nice image and great gaming modes and stuff, but they don't have the what is it, the what is that, not HDR, the other one. They don't have Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision.
Yep.
God, I can't believe I forgot about that. Anyways,
yeah, Samsung doesn't do Dolby Vision, which is kind of annoying.
It is
everybody
annoying.
else is kind of doing everything.
They have great TVs,
So,
and then Sony does do Dolby Vision, and they have great TVs for movie watching, but they're not the best for gaming. And
so, well,
they're still pretty good. They're still good, but they're not the best.
They have OLEDs.
They're not the best.
Their OLED is probably the best one for movies plus gaming. But anyway, so I actually replaced a couple of weeks ago my own very old Sony XBR 75 X940D, which I had put into the family room, and it got burning.
What?
Yeah, it got burning. It's an LED TV. It got burning. Okay, and so like it just had a very clear burn. Like, So I'm
Dude.
like, all right, it probably needs to get replaced, so fine. But it's just a family room TV, so I'm like, whatever. This is at 120 frames, all this, but it got burning, so I'm like, fine, I'm replacing it.
Holy
There was a
crap.
nice Black Friday deal, 85-inch for 650. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Don't care, because if it's gonna break, I don't want to spend a lot. So,
Yeah.
so this TV just stays on permanently, 24/7.
And this has been TV Talk with Fonz
Yes.
and Hargeet. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Good night.
Till next time.
All right, no, we're going to talk about games, I swear. Let's get into our first topic here. Let's get into it. Sony loses one of its most influential and experienced executives in January, okay? Shuhei Yoshida will be leaving the company after 31 years. Hargeet. He'll be riding off into the sunset. When asked about his departure, Yoshida explained, "I've been with PlayStation from the beginning, and this is my 31st year with PlayStation. And when I hit 30 years, I was thinking, it may be about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great." He goes on to say, "I love the PS5. I love the games that are coming out. And we have new generations of management who I respect and admire. And I'm excited for this future of PlayStation." Where's the roadmap, Yoshida? Come on. So, PlayStation is in really good hands. I thought, okay, this is my time. Hargeet, I know you're not the biggest fan of PlayStation, and I definitely don't think you're a huge fan of Yoshida because he started with the company that tried to just get rid of Sega and everybody else, right? That's why you hate PlayStation so much. What's your thoughts on Yoshida
People,
exiting
I
the
understand
company?
them doing their job, right? That's
Yeah.
what they should be doing, right? If you're a competitor, that's your job. That's
Facts.
what you should do.
Facts.
And if they were good at doing it, they're good at doing it. I'm not gonna like throw shade at the guy. He did a fantastic job. He saw it through its ascent. Like it was absolutely fantastic. So I can't say he did a terrible job. They did awesome things. And back when he was running the studios, they were making all sorts of different types of games. And now they are just Sad Dad Walking Simulator games, or they try their live service games. Right. So during his tenure, I gotta say it was better. I think it was a better Sony. Right. That was the PS2 era. That was like the let's try every quirky game that we have. Like they did all sorts of fun things. So I don't know. I thought that was a good time for them. The fact that he's leaving, if you didn't have other context, David Jaffe kind of put out a tweet about it later, and he had a very like against Sony tone, right? Against PlayStation. And so, look, it could be he knows nothing, but Jaffe has a lot of internal industry contacts, and I'm sure he knows the internal scuttlebutt of what's going on. Based on that, I'm going to guess this wasn't a like, hey, after 30 years, I'm deciding to leave. That's not how usually that works. If you're somebody that's been there that long, usually you're like, I'm just going to retire here. This is going to be my place. Right? It's not very likely that you're going to leave unless there's a very enticing offer, right? So that's not generally what I would see.
So you don't think
usually do that?
You don't think he's going to retire? You
He
think
said
he's
it.
moving
He's not
somewhere
retiring.
else? Oh,
He said he's not, right? He said no, I'm not retiring. I'm going to go try to find something else in the industry. Okay, cool. So if
yeah,
that's what
that
he's
is
saying, that's
kind
what
of
he's saying.
odd. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So in general, if you're somebody that likes to move on, you generally do like between 3-ish at the low end, 7-ish, maybe 10-ish years at the most. You'll be gone, right?
Yeah,
That's just the way it usually
If you
is.
hit
That's
15 years,
years,
you're pretty much going to stay there, man.
you're a lifer, right? Unless something drastically changes, right? So like that's usually what happens. So now you have to look at the internal strife here. He was a CEO of PlayStation at one point, and then they kind of took him down to like go handle the indies, and somebody else will take over the CEO duties. That's got to be kind of a little slap, right? But then they now had all this struggle with Jim Ryan, and he's gone, and now they get these two CEOs. Neither one of them is him. I don't know if there's like just hey, I don't feel like I belong here anymore type thing, or whether there just really is no space for him anymore, and he's kind of the end of the old guard. And I'm just reading into it based on the language, that tone from David Jaffe, and I'm just taking leaps here based on what he's saying, like that he knows the internal struggles here and why he's going is not really a simple like, hey, I just want to walk away. There is strife. There's something going on, and he's saying, I'm done, or they're saying, get out, right? So it's one or the other, and like then it really becomes a question of what does he do next, right? So If you look at the industry, is there a place for somebody like him? Sure. Like, where would you want to go? Maybe he starts at a Tencent type thing and tries to do something in Japan. That's a possibility. Maybe he goes to one of the big publishers and does something there. Are they looking for anybody to help them? Maybe like somebody at Bandai's like, hey, we need a succession, and maybe you're the right person, or maybe Konami's like, hey, we need some help, right? Maybe that's the thing. I doubt he would go like start some small indie thing. It just doesn't feel like somebody at that level, right? C-level exec at Sony would then go want to do something small like that. I just don't. I don't know if that really fits. So I think he'd want that
So,
level of management.
okay,
So
instead of speculating where he would go next, let's do a little speculation here. I want to hear what Hargeet thinks that may have happened. Why do you think they would have pushed him out? If that's what you're getting at here.
probably old guard. So I'm gonna guess his mindset is where it used to be. That's a possibility, right? You have Hiroki, who's been there even longer than him, who's saying, I don't really care about this, console war thing or this, I need to kill Microsoft thing, because I'm not gonna kill Microsoft. That's not gonna happen, right? And me wasting my money trying to do that is what you just did, and I got no returns. I just wasted how many hundreds of millions on Firewalk? What is this crap you're doing, right? Where am I making my money, right? And he's going to challenge these guys to think differently, right? And it could be, Yoshida's thinking in the old style. No, you got to do this to keep the console sales relevant. Blah blah blah. Maybe that's him. Maybe he's the opposite. I don't know which side he'd be on.
Yeah.
He did have that comment towards Phil of continue the path of innovation and all that stuff, right? So maybe he's a fan of that. Maybe he says, no, we should just expand beyond this. Let's go to the next step. Or maybe he's the opposite and saying, no, we only have this because we did these things, right? This is what I did. It worked. That's what we should keep doing. I don't know, right? It could be any one of these things, and it could be none of those things. It could be that he's just at the point of saying, you don't treat me well, Sony. Screw you. Bye. Right? It could just be as simple as that. We don't know, right? It could also be he really is just tired of it, and he just wants a different, a change of scenery, a different place to go work.
Got it.
That's also a possibility. I make that like a little minuscule 2% potential that's really the thing, because it usually at this level it's something else.
Yeah, 30 years.
So,
Like I thought, I
yeah.
completely thought when I heard this that he was retiring. He was just riding off
No,
into the
he's saying
sunset,
he's gonna go work
into
again.
retirement.
And I'm like, okay, come on. So I think there's something going on. And again, I'm taking a lot from David Jaffe, who I respect. He was there at the beginning of Sony as well, right? He had a lot of context there. And he's saying, look, like 95% of those people are gone. When this happened, he's like, this, F them, right?
By the way, are we
move on.
buffering? Because I don't see anything, but Danny Passion is saying that we're buffering.
Says we're buffering.
Huh. I don't know. Yeah, apparently we're buffering. That's weird.
Okay, it looks like hopefully it's okay. I don't know. I'm looking at the live feed now. It looks okay. Anyways, let's just keep going. So, I think that's what's happening at Sony. I think there's more of an internal strife of some sort, right? Old guard, new guard, or it could just be there's no real spot for you anymore, and maybe he's just tired of like I'm the indies guy. Hey, I was running this thing. Why am I the indies guy? What's next for me, right? And maybe this just isn't the challenge he wants anymore, right? He wants something bigger or something different. So, any one of those is a possibility. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think happened with?
Like I said, I don't really have any type of speculation here on this situation because I honestly thought he was just retiring. I didn't know he was going to be just leaving to go somewhere else. If that's the case, usually they don't leave after 30 years. I mean, they don't leave after 20 years. They're lifers at that point. So, I mean, the possibility is there. I mean, I could totally see the potential for, okay, I'm going to try to reconnect to the stream. Yeah, it's still bad. Damn, I don't know why. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I apologize, everyone, but man, hopefully this changes. But I don't know. It could be my area, something. I don't know, but my internet looks fine. So I don't know what it is. Anyways, let's try to move on here. I hate having to deal with this stuff, and I hate that you guys um are experiencing that. That really sucks. I don't know where this guy's going, Yoshida. I don't know what he's doing. What's going to happen from here? Yeah, it's going to buffer again. I see it crapping out again. Anyways,
You want to reboot your router or something?
no, didn't change anything. I left everything the same.
But I mean, do you want to reboot it? Maybe that'll fix it or something. I don't know.
Somebody is just messing with my interwebs. That's what they're doing. All right, guys, I'm going to try to pause it out here. You know what? It's still going to be bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on here, but it's not good. It's not good. That's so weird. But I can literally see it at the bottom here showing red, telling me that it's, I don't know what it could be.
Are we back though?
I don't know. I didn't check the stream. Let me see if I can find it. My stream is right here. It says we're live.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it's
back. You're saying it's back?
It keeps telling me that it's dropping frames like crazy.
Okay. Is there something running in the background or anything on the computer? Or?
No, everything is off. The only thing I have up is Discord and the Edge browser to check.
OBS,
and my camera, of course. So
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. I apologize, but this has to be figured out. I had a guy come out here to check my internet, and he said that there was a lot of noise in the line coming from the node, and it was above him. He had to get somebody to come out here and look at it, and they still have not come out. So I'm wondering if that's giving me issues. Gosh, freaking dang it, man.
I was saying it's working now, I guess. I don't know. So let's see if it stays. I haven't seen it buffer. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I keep seeing it at the bottom, though, of the OBS. It'll tell me that it
says no buffering, no stutter. They're saying that. It's no buffering, no stuttering. It's fine.
Okay, well, let's try to get back into it.
See what happens. Right?
Okay, well, let's go on. Speaking about Sony, though, we were talking about Sony and Yoshida leaving. There's rumors swirling that Sony is working on a new handheld portable console. Apparently, it's in early stages of development and is being designed to play PS5 games. Oh, I mean, isn't that what the portable was for? Why do we have a portable? Why did we have a PlayStation Portable for the PlayStation 5 games? Why do we need another one? Oh, it's to counter Xbox's handheld coming soon. So Sony apparently is going to have a handheld of their own. This is all rumor, but it looks like it's going to be a thing. Hargeet, what do you make of this? And would you be upset if you had just bought yourself a portable and here comes...
You mean
rumors.
The portal, the
portal,
portal?
Yeah, portal, the portal. Portable.
Look,
portal.
if you had the idea that it was an actual local playing device, then sure. But if you bought it with the the full knowledge that the portal is just a portal to your PlayStation 5, or now they are adding in the ability to use cloud, right? Then I don't know that you would be, right? I'd assume this portable that they make is going to be more expensive, right? It won't be $200. So if that's the case, if the portal meets your needs, good. If you bought it in the assumption that you're playing games locally, then yeah, you should be pissed and you should return it anyway, right? But if you bought it with the full knowledge that, hey, I need to connect this to my PlayStation, or I'm going to connect to my PlayStation account and it'll let me stream games from the cloud, fair enough, right? I don't see that being an issue because I'm gonna guess that if they make a true PS5 portable, you're probably looking at $400 to $500 in that range, right? Even if they can make it less expensive, you still need to add the whole display, battery, all the audio has to now come in there, right? So it's going to be a bit more, right? So it's gonna have more just direct cost. So that's gonna make it a bit more expensive. So I think if you're having fun with your device, enjoy your device. Just understand that in
Thanks.
tech, things change every year, 2 years. You're gonna have new stuff. If you're one of those who loves to get new things, you're gonna be happy because there's gonna be new things, right? If you're one of those who's like, no, I want to keep this for 8 years, well, too bad. It's not the
You
world
said,
we're in
well, too
anymore.
bad.
It's just the way it is. I wish I could say that that's okay, but unfortunately, to be fair, if you had an Xbox One or PS4, a lot of those people are still on those consoles, right? So if that still works for you, why not? Just keep playing your games. As long as they keep coming, you're good to go, right? But unfortunately, the world just keeps accelerating. Things just keep changing. It's just the way it goes. If you want to see new shiny, it's available to you. If you don't want to see new shiny, stay on your old stuff as long as it works, right? And until they force you off of it, which will probably happen at some point. But hey, as long as it works, keep using it. What the heck? Right?
Yeah, and for me, I've never been a big handheld fan to begin with, so I'm not excited to hear any of this. I'm not even excited for Xbox talking about a handheld or anything. It's just again, it's not exciting to me. When it comes to like the Switch, I mostly played it docked. I don't pick up that thing and walk around the house with it. I think holding the console or the controllers like so far apart, in your hand,
Kind
it's
of
a
awkward.
weird feeling for me. Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just rather just use, just the dock for that. And yeah, I'm just fine with a normal console or platform that I hook up to my TV or monitor and call it a
Yeah.
day. That's what I like. And I owned a PSP. Like I bought one of those when it came out many moons ago. And I remember I thought, man, maybe I'll use this, at my job during some downtime. So I even like hacked it, put homebrew on it, had some games on there and stuff, brought it to my job, put it in the locker, never saw the light of day again until last year when we finally closed our job site and I had to remove everything from my locker. There it was, almost in pristine condition. This thing is almost brand new. It looks so good, and it's a PSP. It's like a day one PSP. And then they've had their Vitas, but if you ask people, Sony guys, that did own all these handhelds, what they think the problem was, most of them will tell you Sony just quits on them too fast, and I think that's one of the things that raises eyebrows with a lot of this stuff. However, if it's to play PS5 games, it's not something they have
Not
to
a problem.
move away
Exactly.
from. You know what I'm saying?
This
Like,
is where the portable stuff is getting better because a lot of the ones that come out nowadays, it's a PC, right? So
yeah,
the catalog of games is whatever's available on PC. It just makes it a lot easier because now even if you buy the game, you still have it. You can go get a different PC and play it, right? Even if that device goes defunct, it doesn't matter. This has always been the headache. If you're a developer, you have to say, well, I have to target this small set of portable devices, and if somebody buys my game, that's where they're locked, right? So the incentive for the player is lower and the incentive for the developer is even lower, right? Because they want to have their
hmm
game go everywhere, and that becomes the headache, right? So if it's a multi-plat that happens to go there, great. If it's a game specifically for that platform, that's tough to make. This is why it's great. Yeah, if it's a PS5 game, there's plenty of those, right? You can go ahead and play that on any PS5. Absolutely, right? You go ahead and have a portable that just accesses that library. That's great, right? So it's a pretty cool time to have that kind of capability. Even better is if it would just say, you know what, the portable is a PC and it plays everything, and it by the way has these enhancements for PlayStation games. Like fantastic, right? That'd be awesome, right? We'll see if they can pull something like that off, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be locked as a PS5 type device that just happens to have a battery and has a screen.
are you excited
Yeah.
for the Xbox handheld? By the way,
It depends on what they do with it. Right? If
yeah.
if it's a PC like device with an Xbox interface, yeah, that's the place to go. Right? If it's just another ROG Ally, well, if it's an Xbox only device, There's some interesting capability there. That could be interesting. I'll say that I've bought a lot of these and I don't use them. Right, like we go to June Showcase, right? You know what we end up doing, right? We're all hanging out, and we get back to the hotel after we've like pretty much exhausted ourselves. And it's like, do I want to now play something? I'm kind of drained. I just want to go to sleep. I'll probably check my email and do whatever like little work, and then like just go to sleep, right? And then wake up, start again. That's what we usually do. Like right at the beginning of the day, we just start. And like we've got a full agenda for the day, right? And it's like, well, I don't have downtime, and it'd be rude to bring the device and not talk to the people when that's the whole point, right? And play this. No, so I'm not gonna even bother, right? And so I've tried this. I've tried to bring the. I never even take it out. It just becomes a worthless waste for me to even take it into my carry-on, because why do I don't need it. Like I never use it. So this is my downside to that. Like you said, Fonz, I have like very large TVs around the house. I don't want to play on a little stupid dinky screen. When I have the large TV, I want it docked. I'm gonna play docked anyway, right? So to me, it's like if I'm gonna have if Nintendo gave me an option of a 3 times more powerful device, if it's not a portable, I would love that. Because that's what I want to do. I want to play my games on my massive TV, right? So to me, as much power as you give me, the better. That's great, right? So if it's a portable that says this is the equivalent of an Xbox One, I'm like, okay, that's nice. I don't really.
Yeah.
If it's a Series S, okay, that's kind of cool. I can take it with me, but again, am I going to use it? I don't know. I don't know where I'd use it. If it's a Series X or higher. Again, same thing. I have a Series X. What am I going to do with it? Right? If you start to give me a combined device that becomes a PC, then it starts to get more interesting. But then I'd rather just have a PC that does that combined device thing. Right?
That makes sense.
So it's an odd one, right? It's an odd one.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
kind of
care
in your
at
boat.
all.
It's like, what am I going to do with this portable? At first, I'm like, this is great. I'll take it with me. But I'm like, I never use it. I don't even take the thing out. What's the point?
Yeah, I don't care at all. Chat, are you guys just interested? You know what? I'll put up a poll for you guys about this. We'll close the other one out, by the way. End poll. I asked you if you had a good Thanksgiving, and I think 80% said yes, you did. 79%. 20 said no. Sorry for you 20%, or maybe some of you just don't celebrate it, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's not really a major holiday for me per se. I mean, we do celebrate it. The family gets together and stuff, but it's I could do without the food these days. Like, honestly, I could do without all that stuff. It's because, and then it boils down to this. I think me and Colt were talking about this, and then I was talking to some other friends about it too. And really, for me, Thanksgiving boils down to pies. I like the pies. I don't
Which
even.
you can't have.
Yeah, which I can't have. So it's not even really about the turkey, the stuffing, this, that. No, I like the pies, and a lot of us just like the pies. So it's not a good holiday for us diabetics, for sure. Diabetes. Yep, not good.
So I like eating meat. I'm a carnivore, so to me it's always great.
Yes, meat. Yes, love the meats.
So give me more more tasty dead animals on my plate. Sorry to all those not so happy with the killing of animals, but I like tasty dead animals on my plate.
Oh, me too. Me too. I got no shame in saying that, man. It's all about the meats. I love the meats. Anyways, we'll move on and we'll talk about this here. By the way, did you see that game? Gosh, what was it called? Lights of Mortar. I don't know. It looks like a Horizon ripoff. Complete Horizon ripoff.
Right?
And you know what? When people tell me what's wrong with Tencent, that's what's wrong with Tencent. They do this a lot. They will take a game and they will make it their own, and literally like take a game and try to make it their own. So if you haven't seen this game,
I have. I've seen it. Wow,
Dude.
you can't rip it off anymore. They have a slight few things that are different, but like, come on, it's like literally the same imagery, the same art, the same characters, the same. Like, it's the same.
Like all the tribes people are wearing the same type of
The
clothing.
same-
You've got
It's
the
like,
robot
come on.
animals and dinosaurs and stuff, and you're like,
Oh my
what
God,
are we
it's so
doing? This, and people always talk about,
it's hilarious.
pre-alpha footage. I'm talking about pre-freaking lawsuit footage is what they've got going on with that game. I don't see how they can't be sued for this.
So I don't know if you can do it in Japan.
It's
and not China,
egregious.
right? In the other countries, you probably can, right? So we will see. Which platforms is it coming on? Is this being sold everywhere? I have no idea what the actual.
It's not on Xbox.
logistics are.
Everywhere but Xbox, apparently.
So it's going to be on PlayStation.
I believe so.
Oh. Then you know.
I believe. Well, actually, I don't know for sure. I
would
believe
understand if it's on
not
PC,
Xbox.
right? If
It's on PC, mobile. I know that. I think
those are the ones that I can
told
get,
me,
right? But
I think
if it's on any of those consoles, they're getting sued.
Is it on PlayStation? That Horizon ripoff game? God, it just, I mean, everything.
Colt
Look at
saying
this
it's
game.
exclusive to PC and PS5.
Oh, a PS5. Yeah. It's
so what if it's actually commissioned by PlayStation? That'd be okay. But
then it would make
otherwise,
sense.
bro, come on, it's entirely a ripoff. I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation says no.
Even when you hit the
be,
robots, you get that purple lightning effect when you hit the robot. It looks the same. I don't know.
Come on.
It's
Now we'll see what PlayStation does. They have to say no, right? You have to have some level of anything for your own game, right? To say no, I'm not going to allow this literal ripoff of my own IP on my platform. Come on.
Light of Motro. What do you say? Motrium? What? I don't even know. I gotta look it up. It's light of something. It's, I don't know. Light of
Motirum?
Yeah, Motirum.
Light of Motirum. Yeah.
Motirum. There it is.
So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's nice videos in any of these articles. But okay, here we go. I don't know if you've got some articles you can show some of the images.
Oh yeah,
but, I mean, literally,
Gaz in the chat, by the way, says the protagonist will probably be better than Aloy, though. Let's be real. It's probably a given.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same baloney, right? The same chattiness, the same whatever.
It doesn't matter because
either way,
it's. I think this one is co-op as well, or like multiplayer.
Yes, it is multiplayer.
So what they did, guys, was they took Horizon, and they made it fun. They made it fun. That's what they did.
We don't know that yet.
Okay, but the possibility is there because honestly, it's not that hard to make it more fun than Horizon Forbidden West. I'll say that much. It's not. It's not hard.
But yeah, I mean, like if you look at the pictures of this stuff, like it is like a 1-to-1 ripoff, and you're like, come on.
I think the stream is doing well now because I don't see any problems happening, even on my end. So I think resetting the modem was the right thing to do. So sometimes you just got to do that.
As far as the game, it has slightly different things where you can kind of like have a companion robot or whatever. I don't know, and like you can do co-op, which again, I don't know if that's gonna be fun or not. We'll see, right? But yeah, this is.
Let's. How about you, I, Colt, and Gaz? We all get in on that game day one. Let's play.
Yeah, it's a large number of players too, right?
Yeah, let's have a blast.
Yeah,
let's just run through there.
When is it coming out?
Kill some dinosaurs, kill some robots. I don't know when it's dropping. I don't know. Okay. I didn't look into it that far. I just saw it and I went, what the fuck is that? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was not going to have Horizon's name attached to that. It didn't. It strikes me as just another Horizon type game. I mean, of course, there's a few differences in it. The animations and stuff aren't as good, but damn, does that game aesthetically look a lot like Horizon, especially the locales. Yeah, even the deserts, the jungles, everything. It's Horizon. I appreciate
It's
you,
funny.
Serve. Thank you for
It
letting
is
me
so
know.
funny.
Uh,
What was that?
Gentle Stone says, "Don't jinx the connection." I'm trying not to. Trying not to. So, uh,
Yeah, I mean, if it's, I think it has like 10 player or something ridiculous. I heard something along those lines. Co-op. If it does, if it has more than 3 or 4, right, we can do that.
Danny, I
Let's do it.
talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Path of Exile is a game that I do want to jump into. I really do. I'm intimidated as hell by that game. Path of Exile, I tried it a few times on PC, and it's tough. Well, it's only on PC, but it's tough. It's not like Diablo. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's harder. But I want to try it so bad because it looks so cool, especially some of the builds and stuff I've seen. And maybe that's what I got to do. Maybe I have to kind of look for a specific build that I think looks really cool and powerful, and just go towards that within the skill tree, because that skill tree is intimidating as all hell. But I want to play it, man. It looks so good, and it does so much more than Diablo as well. Yeah, exactly, Biff. He said that skill tree, though. Exactly what I'm talking about. Well, let's shift gears here and let's talk. Well, did you have anything to bring up this week at all? Any other news items or
Uh,
anything that you want to talk about
is there anything really that big? I don't know. Like
before we
it's
get into this kind of situation that we're going to talk about?
I don't know. What else did we even have? We've had the controversy thing that we'll probably get into,
Yeah,
right?
we'll
But
get into that.
uh, beyond that, I mean, I don't know. Has there been anything big? I don't know. I can't
There
remember anything
really
big.
hasn't. I think we covered
Um,
all the major stuff. Yoshida, freaking handheld possibility.
yep, yep. I mean, there was this leaked specs thing for a potential Xbox Next,
Okay, so what's
which
this leak? What's this leak?
I don't
Okay,
think.
debatch us all. Debatch us. Come on, give it to us.
I don't know how true it is, though. I'll just be honest. I don't know how true it
Oh,
is.
it's a
So,
5090, man. It's a 5090. Yeah. That's right.
so what the leak was saying was it would have 32 gigs of memory and 82 T flops. Now,
Oh, it's
if you
140 flops, man. You gotta double it. You gotta triple it, man.
no, I think that's what they're doing is and like again, I don't know if I buy it, but I think this is
Shout out
that
to
double
D. Love
execution
D.
stuff. And I think it's on um I think it's half that, right? So it'll be about 41. That's more realistic for the next gen. I think that'd be about a realistic amount. So I'm not surprised if that is the case. But like again, I take anything right now kind
Yeah,
of
with a grain of
with
salt.
a
Yeah.
massive, massive grain of salt. I don't know if it's true or not.
It's way too
Uh,
soon.
yeah, it is kind of way too soon. What I do know, what we've been hearing, is both PlayStation and Xbox are targeting RDNA 5 and Zen 6. Those are their targets for generations for the GPU and the CPU. So whatever they make out of an APU out of that, that's essentially what both of them are looking to do. We will see one that's viable. We're kind of getting to RDNA 4 now. And RDNA 5 is probably a few years out, right? So it's going to be kind of the same thing with Xbox, where they right to the end of when that finally RDNA 2 was ready to go is when their dev kits started to get made, right?
Yeah.
Because they waited to make sure RDNA 2 was actually complete, feature complete, and that's when they went forward. Whereas PlayStation said, "Hey, we'll take RDNA 1, take some of the features from 2, and bake it in ourselves." And we'll have a RDNA 1.5, right? Sort of a custom job, and it's been pretty good for them. So, that's kind of the way they pathed it forward. They're doing kind of a similar thing with PSSR, right? They kind of made their own little thing on top of what's there and said, "Oh, we'll just add this in." AMD's obviously with FSR4, they're going to have an equivalent, right? They're going to have something baked in with their own AI upscaler. So this is stuff that's happening. That's kind of the rumor set as far as the targets. Now, as far as the T flops and whatnot, I don't know. It's possible it'll be that much. It might be higher, maybe lower. I don't know, but I'm taking that with a high amount of salt. I don't think that's going to be
Yeah,
exact at this point.
I'm
We'll
with you
figure
on
that out
that.
later. So
Yeah, for sure.
so that's what we really have so far.
And by the way, speaking of D-Batch, by the way, I have to say, last week our show with D-Batch and Jake uh, got some
Pretty civil.
great feedback. And a lot of people were saying that D-Batch was very, very like civil and laid back, and they enjoyed him. And I have to say, kudos to him. But I knew he had it in him. I knew he could do it without. Because at first I was thinking to myself, man, he's going to come back and just rip the chat, and like he's done in the past. But no, he did such a good job. And if you avoided that episode because you thought he was going to be a certain way, nah, go back and watch that episode. It was really good. And they both had a lot of good and bad things to say about the Pro. And somebody in the chat, I think it was Ranting Greek Gamer, by the way. What's up? I see you. RGG in the chat. He says he was asking you, Hargeet, your thoughts on the Pro sales so far.
Do we have any numbers? I haven't heard any. So
I haven't really heard anything. It's just basically around the PlayStation 4 Pro numbers is the ballpark anyway.
Right. That's pretty good. Look, the only sale that I'm worried about is selling my anniversary collection. Anybody who wants to buy it, it's up on eBay.
It's only $11,000.
It's at 10 right now.
$10,000. Okay,
Worth
for you
everything.
guys, 9,500 for you guys now. If you get it in the next hour, Hargeet will give it to you for the low price of $9,500, and you yourself can own the 30th anniversary edition PlayStation 5 Pro.
And
yes,
Slim
Web Dave.
and Portal.
You heard Web Dave. I'm not going to tell him. Web Dave is telling him. Hit that like button if you enjoy the show so far. Shout out to Web Dave. Good to see you, buddy. Danny Passion Official, shout out to you for the $2, man. I appreciate you. He says that I think he's talking about Path of Exile 2 has him really excited. Xbox should go with NVIDIA as well. Yeah, that would be awesome. DLSS would be the best thing for next-gen consoles. It really would. But
so we can talk about that specifically with Nintendo, right? Nintendo is using NVIDIA altogether, and
they will have DLSS.
The speculation, right? This is not confirmed, but the speculation is that it will have RTX 30 level graphics. So, and with DLSS 3 point something, we don't know how far, right? That's supposedly where maybe it's 2 point something, but it probably will be a DLSS 3 point something. That will be a very, very capable console. Just imagine the amount of capability you have. Thinking of like even a 3060, 3050, 3070 in a portable device with DLSS upscaling capability, baked in. That will be an interesting device to see what it does with it, right? They're claiming they're going to have ray tracing, which they will. RTX 30 has ray tracing, right? So you have that potential, and then they still will have AI upscaling, which will allow it to do things, especially docked, where it can compete with a Series S or something like that, right? So that's a pretty impressive device. Depending on where they price it, right? It could be a pretty good device to buy. We will see how that goes. It's very exciting to see the NVIDIA, like what they did before was they took an off-the-shelf thing that was intended for a different device, right? And put it into the Switch. And they have punched above their weight using even that hardware, right? They have done a lot of cool things with that absolutely garbage, like GPU, APU, let's just say, right? That they picked up. Now it's NVIDIA working with Nintendo to put something out as a console. Right, so
doesn't it have the same architecture as that the Shield Pro? Wasn't that basically what they used? The NVIDIA Shield Pro?
T239, which is a 234 shrunk, something like that, right? The 234 might be the NVIDIA Shield Pro. I'm not sure where it is used, but the T234, as I understand it, is a bigger version of what this is going to have. So there's going to be a little bit less capability, but they're making it more tuned for gaming. So they're making sure they have all the capabilities needed specifically for gaming, and they're going to take out some of the other capabilities needed for other things that aren't as relevant here. So We'll see what they do. Look, Nvidia is like top of the world at this point, right? They are
when it
basically
comes to
owning
the
the AI,
AI. Yeah.
right? They're owning the AI world, and GPU wise, really, I don't see
And that's
anybody
one misconception I want to
killing
put
them,
out there
right?
too,
So
Hargeet, is a lot of people, you see a lot of fanboys anyway, run with, well, you guys make fun of this, but you champion DLSS. And look, nobody shits on AI specifically. Well, at least most people on PC don't, because you need it for a lot of these new games. You just do, or else you're not running native 4K, 100 frames without it. But there is a huge difference between DLSS and everything else. There just
that's the
is.
thing. Yes, yeah,
It's
they've been
massive.
doing this for a while, right? And they've been learning and learning and learning. This was it 2019, 2018,
You know what?
2019, I think, when they fixed it.
That's
So it's
interesting
been a
though,
while.
because I mean, he brings up an interesting point though, because if Xbox were to bring in NVIDIA and their DLS tech and DLSS tech and all that, it would be a very, very enticing platform for console gamers, because your other choice is PSSR on PlayStation. But with PlayStation, the PSSR right now, anyways, it's not looking so hot. It's not doing everything that
It
people
will take
thought it
time.
would yet.
It
It's
will
going to
get
take a
better, but
lot of
it will
time.
take time.
And
Yeah,
and we could say it could get better, but it might not. It might not get that much
also true.
better. You never know.
That's
Like,
true.
and I'm not even trying to be
Yeah,
an ass about it. I'm just being real. Like,
yeah,
this thing is not like, um I know that it's hardware learning and machine learning, that it can get better, but there might be a point where it's not going to get as good as, say, DLSS 3.5. It just might not
yeah.
hit that level, and that's fine. But if you have a new console coming out and they were to bring DLSS 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, it would be an amazing thing for a console to have, because the difference is, I'm telling you, if you're not on PC and you don't see what DLSS can actually do, it's mind blowing. It's really, really
Yeah.
freaking high end stuff.
It's exciting to see what happens. Like, how is this thing gonna work? I can't wait for their reveal, right? Because that's gonna show you like what they're doing and how good it's gonna look, right? I can't wait to see what the heck they're pulling off. But Nvidia has got to be like saying, "Oh, you guys skipped us, huh? Yeah, watch what we do," right? So why not? Why not? I'm all for this, right? I love the competition. I like it. So
I like what BX81 in the chat said. He says, if you gotta say you're not being an ass, dot dot dot. Yeah, yeah. I know what you're getting at, but I'm truly not trying to fuss about it, but I'm just being honest. Like, it's just the facts. Like, this thing might not get that great. It could get better, yes. Will it get better? Sure, but how much better? We don't know. None of us know. We can only speculate. And right now, especially with lower resolution stuff, it's not looking so hot. Um, let's go ahead and talk about the biggest thing here on my thumbnail. I talked about it. There's a question mark there. It says avoid Avowed, because there's a situation going on, and I'd really like to start this out by talking about this one developer. He's, I think, the art director for Avowed at Obsidian, Matt Hansen, and his behavior on social media platforms, both surrounding Avowed and gaming and politics and just all kinds of stuff. And I think I could summarize by saying that all these developers, community managers for these gamers, for these game companies and stuff, these studios, they really need to start reading the room, and they really need to start just shutting the fuck up. There's no reason to really run your mouth the way this gentleman has been doing lately. And I don't care who you don't like, or what ideology you don't like, or politics you don't like. You simply don't, just don't mention it. Don't talk about it. Like, there's really no reason for this guy to go on and on. And you know what? Let me show you some of his posts on social media. I can do that for you guys, because I think they're worth looking at here. So these are just some of the posts that are pretty egregious, in my opinion. And I'll read a few here for you
Oh,
listening. You got Matt Hansen here who said, "Sickos, I want so badly to make him mad with my game, and I cannot believe it actually happened. Just wait until you see the default. You sad little shit." He said sad, but he meant sad. And he's replying to Elon Musk. Now, I understand he has a problem with Elon Musk, and mainly it's politics. It's down to politics because in this next post, you can see here, he says, well, first, he's replying to this guy who says, "I also firmly believe that we need to crush these people's spirits into blood and earth, not, not be nice to the amoral supporters of an aspirational, gore-soaked dictator." Okay, so of course he's talking about people who voted for Trump. And you have Matt Hansen here who had to chime in and replied, quote tweeted and said, "They need to feel the sting of shame for the rest of their putrid lives. To be honest, and that is me being nice." Doesn't sound like a very nice guy. And then he replied to this guy who says, "I'm just a fan, but we're all doing our best for our family, country, God, and coach."
Oh, yeah.
And he replies with all sincerity, "There is no such thing as just a fan. Y'all are the whole reason for making this stuff, And it's why we do everything we can to make the game as inclusive as possible. Pissing off the chuds is just a side benefit." Okay, so he loves pissing off gamers who don't like the woke stuff and everything in their games, apparently, or any type of inclusivity. So he deliberately does this to piss you off if you feel this way. And then it gets even worse. It's just weird. It's like he puts a post out there and says, "A reminder to Black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews of or job advice. My DMs are open, and you will always have my priority. We got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods." Well, I wish you would live in the woods, because you are just a nasty person and shouldn't be around anybody. Look, I'll just say this, Hargeet. I'll say that I personally feel, after reading just this stuff here, this guy really shouldn't have a platform to really stand on. And I know a lot of people like to point fingers at other people. And if you're pointing at like the politic thing, like, people like him are usually the guys that say, "Oh, the right wing people are very nasty and vitriol and vile and disgusting." But it's on full display here. He exudes disgusting here when he's talking about the other side of the fence. And I don't know. It's kind of just ironic, but it doesn't surprise me. But what does surprise me, Hargeet, is that this guy still has a job. I think he should be fired publicly. I think Obsidian should come out with a statement saying, "We're sorry for his remarks. This man no longer works for us." That's how I feel about it. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's how I feel.
I hate canceling people, period. I don't like it at all, right? But there also needs to be consequences. And I don't think firing is a consequence here. I think what they should do is, like, hey, perhaps you should not be doing this anymore. And if you're going to keep doing this, you're going to go on probation and you have to deal with it, right? Like, you can't do this, right? Because it reflects on Microsoft. And if this becomes too much of a headache, right? Like, Microsoft is invested in by like the entire fucking planet. And despite what people here think, most of the shit these people say is exceedingly offensive to most of the world. Okay? But you guys just think what you think, and that's fine, whatever. Right? So what this guy's saying is, it's not cool. It's just not.
No.
I stay in the center, and so I can see the shit from both sides. Both sides do a lot of stupid shit.
For sure.
Good
100%.
God, the left has absolutely no clue how terrible they are at a lot of times. And this is an exact display. They just don't see the fact that they are fucking assholes at times as well. And this is just bullshit. It's just straight out, you should just shut up. Right? Yeah. Should Elon even say anything? Probably not. But
No.
your answer to this should not be, "Hey, I'm going to start engaging and be more vitriolic." It's just, I just don't understand how people don't have any level of thought of what they're saying before they say something like that. That it's just so ridiculous. But this is what they do, right? Now, should Microsoft do something? Yes. Should they fire him? I hate doing that. I hate doing that.
Here's the thing. The
I say
reason
give
why I
this person
said
a
because
chance.
does anything that he's said out there, anything that he's put out there, help that game at all? It doesn't. It doesn't
Does it
help.
help the game? No.
No. It
But
doesn't
should they
help
have views? Like,
Obsidian or
as we had this
Xbox.
before, right?
No.
Like we said before, right? But like if an actor has a weird like whatever, ideology or whatever, fine. Like Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, right? Okay, do I like Scientology? Kind of weird, but okay. Does that mean I'm not going to watch anything Tom Cruise? No.
Okay,
I'm
but
still gonna watch stuff.
is
You know what I
Tom
mean? So,
Cruise calling people names and saying they're putrid and he
fair
wants to
enough.
see them burn? And
Fair enough. And I think this needs
it's
to be called out more
that's the
for
thing.
all the people who
That's
think they're mainstream. No, you're assholes. That's it. You're just straight out assholes. And you got to stop being that way, right? This country pretty much told you F off. The entire country went red. Every single part went red. Every single part. You got to figure out, maybe you're on the wrong side of this. Maybe you need to think about who you are and why you keep behaving this way. This is vitriolic. There's just no way around it. This is a hateful person that needs to stop being hateful, right? Stop it. In here, you have hate. That's not good. That's not good. And you're displaying it, right? So I say give the person a chance to fix it. I don't like canceling people. So it's better to say, you know what, give this person a chance. Let them come back and say,
there's got to be
maybe I was
repercussions
just
though.
wrong.
There's got to be repercussions to
There
this
has to be
stuff
some,
because
right? And
let me put it this way. What if, because I saw people defend this and say, oh, people are offended by the word crusty. Look, it's all about context and what he's saying. It's not really about the word crusty. But to that point, let's flip the script a bit. What if he was saying there's too many crusty black people in this industry? How do you think that would go over? If you said crusty,
do it for
anybody, Asians,
horrible.
anybody, it's
horrible.
despicable. It's disgusting, regardless of who it's against. If you are talking badly about anybody's skin color or whatever, it's racism at its core. It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, you could say he's a white guy or whatever, but honestly, there's a lot of white people that are very self-loathing people that hate themselves. And I don't know if he's one of these guys. He seems to be, because he wants you to replace him and his kind in the industry and all this. It's just weird to me. I don't understand his posts so much because they're fucking batshit crazy in my opinion. Because he's really upset at like Elon and stuff, and it's fine. You can hate on Elon, you can hate on whoever you want to, but think about your job. Think about the kind of stuff that you're saying, and think about what you're supposed to be doing, as somebody that's representing a company and stuff online. Like
that's the part that sucks, right? It's representing Microsoft at this point, and you have to be very careful when you're starting to do these kind of things. That's where I think it's gonna get like flagged. Hopefully, somebody says, "Okay, yo, you got to stop this," right? So either your ability to post is like suspended for the next 6 months. Even though that's kind of a weird thing to do, but it might just have to be that way, or you're out. Right?
He's already protected his tweets and did all that, or his blue sky,
which is what
tweets.
needs to happen exactly, right? And then you start to go back and say, all right, fine. You know what? As Obsidian, unfortunately, will now have to say these are not our views. We're disavowing this.
Here's the problem with that, Hargeet.
But
here's the problem: the studio head retweeted some of this stuff.
I know. Again, this is just stupidity that they need to work through. Like this
so
has got to stop.
It's more deep rooted in the studio, in the culture there at Microsoft, and among many studios, and it's a hateful one, and that's the part I don't like. The hate in this. You can call it what you want. You can say people are. It's so much hate though, and you're right. People are going to have hate in their hearts. There's a lot of people that work for various companies that feel the same way and feel the opposite and want to attack people of color or whatever. You're right. There are those people out there, but it's still a disgusting thing and should not ever be put on full display. That's the problem.
I wish.
That's the problem. BX81, thank you for becoming a supporter. I appreciate that. And thank you for being a member for 9 months. Ace Out Gaming, he says, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I agree with
And we
Artemis.
have
I
another
think this
one.
guy needs some therapy, man. I think
Yeah.
this guy's got some issues. Biff Rinaldi, thank you for the 5. He says, can someone tell me why game mode makes TV too dark? To see what I'm looking at seems counterintuitive. Should make everything brighter, right? Question mark. Game mode usually dims down the picture because of static images. They things like that. They don't want it to burn in the screen. However, there is certain TVs. I don't know if you have an LG or something else or Samsung. They have modes in there where you can turn up the brightness in game mode. Like you can turn up the black brightness in the blacks and stuff. And you can wash them out if you want to see things in the dark better and stuff. But yeah, there's that there. Danny Passion Official just says 100, 100, 100. I guess he agrees with us on the situation. A lot of people don't. And I saw a lot of people defending him. And here's the thing. And some of you out there that's defended him are friends of mine. And I don't hate you for it. I dislike that you defend him on this situation. We have a very big difference of opinion on the matter, but I will just say this. It's hateful. It doesn't matter who it's against, what it's about. It's hateful stuff, and it should not be spread on the internet because the internet is forever.
It would just gotta go away. I hate it.
Yeah, of course. But that's the problem with this stuff. The internet is forever. He can delete these tweets all he wants.
Yeah.
The cancel culture situation is so horrid that they will go back freaking 40 years and find whatever you got out there. No, 40 years. We haven't had the internet like that. But
this is another problem, right? And again, let's also be fair that like the vast majority of people aren't like this. There are a small percent that are going to behave
that's
like
the
this.
sad part. Because there's other developers that made Avowed that shouldn't be, held accountable for this stuff. And in a roundabout way, they are because they are being subjugated to people that are boycotting the game now because this guy's freaking madness online. That's the bad part.
At that point, I would say the guy probably has just been sort of directed to believe certain things and caricatures and whatnot instead of just engaging, right? If you just engage, if this guy engaged in a live conversation with Elon, I bet you it doesn't go like this. With a live conversation with almost anybody, because we have normal human reactions to people, right? But when you can distance yourself on social media and you can make somebody into an enemy, this is what happens. And I wish people would just get away from the whole enemy thing. Nobody's your enemy unless you make them your enemy. Just stop it. Like, really just stop it. Let's all be friends. Let's just try to be cordial. Like, why is that a problem? Yeah. But anyway, unfortunately, these voices get amplified, and now we will think Avowed is going to be horrible. Obsidian is going to be horrible. It's like,
dude. Oh, by the way, shout out to That Blue Number. I didn't read your post up there, but I just said what you basically said, how it affects everybody there at Obsidian. Yeah, there's some people there that don't want any part of this mess or this nonsense. Exactly. And that's the problem. And that's why, like, we see a difference here. We have a difference of opinion when it comes to how do we go about fixing this issue. I say you have to get rid of this guy. And I think you got to reprimand, what's his name, the lead guy, for even retweeting some of this stuff. Not get rid of him, but basically do something, reprimand him in some way. But Matt Hansen has to go. That's the way I look at it. He has to go. And I know a lot of people who feel the same.
Giving second chances. I'm good with giving.
You're a great man, Hargeet. You're a great man.
I just don't like. I don't know. Well, everybody makes mistakes. Every one of us has made mistakes,
yes,
and I would love to give the guy a second chance. Try to be better, right? And maybe your next thing needs to be more conciliatory and stop being so. Like, I don't know. Maybe look. It is also
so at the very least they have to apologize for what he's saying. They have to. They have to come out with a statement. But here's the problem. If it's so deep rooted into that culture there, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I don't think there's going to be an apology at all. I honestly don't.
This is just such a tough subject because people have like made up their minds in like, this ridiculous social media political world. And I really wish they would just talk, honestly. Like, instead of have caricatures over the other side, go talk to these people. You'll understand, like, 90% of the time you're going to agree. There's going to be this very minor amount that you're going to disagree. Fair enough. That happens in political
Yeah.
life. But you're going to agree with everything. I don't think it's going to be that bad. You don't need to hate it. I really wish people would just stop hating. Like, it's just...
Dr. Dry Rub in the chat says, Fonz, you are so triggered. Look, I'm not triggered by this. It's upsetting to see because people in his position should not be saying these sort of things. Nobody should, honestly. I think it's disgusting to say this kind of stuff against people who have different ideologies or freaking political views. It makes no sense. Okay, to me, I don't look at whoever somebody voted for that I personally didn't vote for, and like I don't go after Trumpers, I don't go after Kamala supporters. Like I don't care about that stuff necessarily, but this guy is so vitriolic, so freaking just. I don't know what's going on in his head. He needs some therapy, though, because it's not just about that. The fact that he said all this other stuff, too, in the past is just weird. It's not right. It's not right. And again, at the end of the day, that's more of the problem here than the actual pronouns in the game. Like, more people are upset about this guy's tirade on this stuff more than they are about the pronouns in the game. And that should tell you something there. And I say to these developers and the community managers, it's time to read the room, because you are talking like this, and you are the smaller percentage of people that might believe what you believe or whatever it is. The mass majority of gamers out there don't believe most of this stuff that you're on about, okay? They don't. And that's just facts. We've already had games that tanked because of certain ideologies and stuff being implemented in there. And now you being so hateful are just compounding that freaking stuff like tenfold. The hate is just off the charts with this stuff. It gets crazy, and it's time to read the room. It's time to understand that everything has consequences, and whatever you say out there, if it's hateful, there's consequences. There's consequences for myself, Hargeet, anybody out there on social media. Yeah. The same should apply for this gentleman. The same should apply. I don't know. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Again, I know you want him to be fired. I just shy away from that. I try to say, let's see if there's a way you can be, reformed or whatever.
Serve thinks I'm insane for saying what I said. What, for hating hate?
I don't think you're insane.
That's censorship. No. I'm all for no censorship. See, that's where you're wrong. But here's the thing. But censorship, no, that doesn't negate the fact that you could say anything you want freely without consequences. There's two different things there to talk on. Okay, you can say whatever the hell you want. That's fine. But there will be consequences to certain things. That's not censorship. Censorship is shutting you down completely. But here's the problem. Hate and stuff like that goes on out there, whichever way you slice it, doesn't matter where the hate's being pointed or directed at. The fact remains that hate shouldn't be a thing anyways. But if it is, there's going to be consequences to that. Say what you will. I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping Matt from saying what he said. But guess what? He already did it, and there should be consequences. It's just the world we live in. This is how it works. It's just the facts, man.
As far as freedom of expression, right? That intent is the government can't stop political speech. And that's the case. You can say whatever you want. That does not mean your company wants you to represent that for them, right? Facts. There are unfortunately consequences of that, okay? And if you get a paycheck from somebody, you kind of have to deal with their values. In a lot of cases, when you get employed, you'll have a social, etiquette requirement that you'll have to go through to say, I agree, I will not do these kind of stupid things, right? So, whether you're on any social media, they're going to tell you you can't post things like this without going to us, right? You can't do it. Why? Because they don't want to take the hit, right? and it just makes sense. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, right? In this world, a thing here or there can take a negative consequence on the company, and then it hits their bottom line big time, right? They don't need that crap, right? Especially if you're pissed off about something, it's like, you know what? Just don't post it.
Yeah.
That's just unfortunately the way it is, right? So, and if you're at any level of managerial something, director, VP, whatever, it just amplifies that, right? So you have to be very careful when you're at those levels. This is why when who's the guy that went from Xbox to Activision and quit, left from Blizzard?
I don't remember.
What the heck? Yeah, he's a C-level guy, but he's been out there kind of actively saying things against Xbox. And you're like, all right, come on, dude. Like, you have to know that you shouldn't do that. It's a small industry. Ultimately, if you keep bashing one company, your prospects in the gaming world start to diminish because they don't want to associate with you, right? You have to just understand those kind of things, right? So, like, you just have to be careful. So is it censorship? It's self-censorship to make sure that your ability to engage with certain companies and be employed by them just stays relevant. Otherwise, you can push yourself away to a point where it's impossible. You're too toxic for that company to bring you on, right? But again, freedom of speech is the intent is you cannot be stopped by the government, not by any given company. They may say, no, I'm all set. Now, Elon's thing was, hey, I'm going to allow that on Twitter that you can say what you want, right, within certain bounds. Obviously, you can't do things that are illegal, but you can go ahead and say what you want. And you notice those posts are still there. It's up to them to decide to make them protected or whatever. He's not stopping that, right? But he
Oh
does
yeah,
have
you're
his
allowed to
opinions,
say whatever you
and
want,
opinions are opinions, right?
but again, at the end of the day, we're talking about consequences here. We're not talking about shutting people down. We're talking about consequences. Now, the fact is that the guy's already said this stuff and nothing has come up about this at all from Microsoft, from Obsidian. Nobody has spoken up on this. He himself hasn't apologized for anything he said, nor do I think that any of them will. I don't think it's going to come out at all. And
Yeah.
there's some industries maybe that you can work in that you can feel free to say whatever you want and get away with it. There's that too. And in that case, it wouldn't be a big deal, I guess. But, for this, it's like, come on, you're being hateful and you're representing a company. There should be some sort of consequence. There just should be. It's not censorship. It's just obvious. It's I don't know. Should be a thing. It should be.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
mean,
what's
look,
going to
even
happen.
when you have opinions, just keep them nice, cordial. I don't see
Yeah.
why it needs to be nasty, right? Like, don't call out groups, don't call like just stop. Just stop.
And
The
it really
second you're trying
doesn't
to
help at all.
just stop.
It really
Just
doesn't
stop.
help at all, too. Like you're trying to implement things in games that a lot of people aren't really digging right now, and you want that to sell and to the masses, and then on top of that, they're already like kind of going into this thing, kind of like, I don't know if I want to play this. It's got this I don't like in it or whatever, and then you throw the hate on top of it. It's like, what are we doing? That's not helping at all.
Not good.
There's no reason to do it.
Well, but look, I hope this doesn't cause any issues. I know it will. It will. There's no way
It
around
will.
it now.
I have
Now
a
that he opened
feeling
his
that
mouth.
Avowed, I think Avowed is going to have a lot of people boycott it. And unfortunately, it's going to mean that we'll see another studio get hit hard. I feel it. And it's unfortunate, but it doesn't have to be that way. When you work for a company, they could actually censor you on social media. In your freaking when you sign those papers to work for a company, they have language in there these days now where you can't say certain things and talk about certain things. So it's not about it's some law or whatever, but it's policies at these jobs.
Just they want to be associated with it. They just don't want to be associated with it. Like anything that hits the bottom line. Sorry, nope.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what
anyway,
Dr. Dry Rub
it is
thinks that I've lost in this, but bro, I think you're very lost if you don't understand what is happening here. So weird. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a lot of you are just on the side of just sticking up for, I don't know if it's Xbox or the game itself, and you're just not, or you don't want to see any issues. But this happens
Yeah,
everywhere. Like we've
I
seen
hope
this.
people still play the game.
We've
Because
seen
look, there's
this
going to
with
be people of various ideologies in that company, right?
yeah.
This is just one guy, maybe the head of it.
Yeah, maybe the
Thinks
head
it's
of it
okay,
that's
but
retweeting. Yeah,
it's like,
it's
okay,
definitely
fine.
an issue that it needs to be addressed for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. All right. Well, with that,
but hey,
I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Some of you may not like talking about this stuff or my or Hargeet's opinion on it. But at the end of the day, it's, it's stuff that's going on in the gaming industry. It's stuff that I personally feel is hurting the industry more than it is helping. Having people speak out hate like that and working for these studios and stuff, it's not a good look. It's not helping their games. It's harming their games more than helping.
yeah.
And it's not a good thing. You shouldn't want this. Anybody who's defending this, I think that you're crazy. You're crazy if you're defending this. Dry Rub says, Fonz, if you're so concerned about hate and topics like where the podcast dedicated to all the hate being thrown at trans and people affected by hate towards them over pronouns. What? Dry Rub, you obviously are not following the conversation at all. So with that, I'm sorry, sir, but you will no longer be able to talk on this channel. Goodbye. Because you're just talking nonsense and you're not listening. So he is gone. And it's not because he disagrees with me. It's because he just doesn't have a clue, doesn't understand basic dialogue here in discourse. Doesn't. Okay, what if Fonz just started saying everything that guy did? You would not just let it go. I'm so confused. Why are you defending? Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Exactly. That's why I said flip the script. If he was talking about anybody else, if he was talking about the other side that he is pro for, we would have these guys saying the opposite. We'd have these guys definitely saying, this guy needs to be reprimanded, fired, whatever it is. We've seen it time and time again. But again, anyways, guys, I want to get out of here. This stream has been up and down. I'm glad we were able to finish it, though, because there was a minute there where I was thinking to myself, Hargeet, I might not be able to do this stream today. But
Yeah,
because
but
of Hargeet saying, hey, why don't you just try to, reset the router, it worked. So we were able to finish it. And with that, I want to say thank you guys for showing up today. Hargeet, let everybody know where they can follow you, find you, and your book.
So my channel is HargeetChani1 on YouTube if you want to subscribe there. Pick up my book if you like, shop.chani.us. It's Emergence. Check it out. And then I'll be on tomorrow with Web Dave at 7 p.m. US Eastern. We'll have our normal podcast on Web Dave's channel. And then I'll be on with Boom on Wednesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern on Double Barrel Gaming. Check that out.
Nice. Thank you, by the way. Somebody in here, it went by. I can't find it, but he said, thank you for covering this topic. Yeah, me and Hargeet are not afraid to tackle these types of topics. It's real life. It's stuff that happens. We're not about spreading hate, but we definitely are about talking about what goes on with all this stuff. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to many people out there in life in general. So anyways, with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, everybody listening after the fact, and until next time, game on, people.